If you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Jess Burgess. I'm a filmmaker based in Brooklyn, and I'm here working on a script called Don't Leave Me.
Wonderful. And is this your first residency?
It is. I took a week on a retreat a few years ago outside of Yosemite, but this is my first time really being able to take a month to dive into my creative process.
Awesome. So, when did you first discover the concept of a residency, and what was kind of your idea for your personal project?
Yeah, I don't know where I first heard about the concept of a residency. I think I've known generally about them since college, but in the past few years, I've really wanted to find space to really give myself time and space to really dig in a way that's removed from distractions, but also is geared towards people who share kind of similar values and ideas about the creative process. And so, I would say, probably at the beginning of the pandemic, I got really serious about finding one, and it was kind of a very kismet thing. I found this on a forum and applied, and it took a while for me to actually schedule at the time, but it ended up working out, and I'm really, really happy it did.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we were talking at least a year ago or something, right?
Yes, definitely. Almost 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, and it was kind of things are cooped up. New York is insane, and I got to get out, but I've got work to do, and it was just kind of the timing, just because it wasn't quite fitting.
Yeah, I run my own business, so it's really tough to really be able to break away. But I eventually just said, I have to do this, and now is as good a time as any. And I pulled the trigger.
That's amazing. So, you were telling me that you grew up in a slightly similar area in the Carolinas?
Yeah, I grew up as a kid outside of Asheville.
Okay.
A little town called Hickory. So that's in the foothills.
Yeah.
It's very similar to
Isn't there a college there in Hickory, North Carolina?
Hickory? I don't know. Asheville has a ton of colleges, for sure, but I don't know about Hickory.
For some reason, I feel like I've been to Hickory before, or I've heard of it for some reason.
It's a big furniture town.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Know,
awesome.
It's cool. It's
a
weird little town, for sure.
Yeah. And then how long have you lived in New York?
I have lived in New York for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I moved there for college, right out of high school, and I've been there ever since.
And something about it is appealing.
Oh, I love being around other people who are creative. I don't know how it's a little bit less so recently, but just the amount of people that you can find who are pursuing their passions, creating things, and creating community. But I've been thinking about moving recently. Yeah. Definitely in the horizon. But it's been good so far. I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah. Well, you went up there for film school?
Yes, I went to NYU for film school.
And there's obviously that's a resource and connections and
yes, films. I mean, NYU, New York in general is second biggest hub to LA. Yeah. I don't even know it might have. I don't know where it lands now, but it's a huge resource. NYU is a huge resource. Yeah. Graduating met a lot of people. Just being in the middle of stuff is really great.
Yeah. So at some point you discover that the rat race, so to speak, being a business owner, pandemic happens, and you're like, I gotta take a break.
Yeah, well, I think it's a lot for me about balance. I really like doing what I do, and I run a production company, and I genuinely like it. It can be overwhelming. It can be very nonstop, and I think it's really important to be able to take breaks and slow down and reconnect with yourself and what you're really, what you're really put here to do. Yeah. And, and then you can come back because that stuff's always
right. Good. So you've been able to coordinate a month's stay.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden something happened where work is intruding. So you've been here 2 weeks. So tell me about how the last 2 weeks have been. And I think it's nice because you're here 2 weeks, you're going to take a work break, which means you're going to travel and you're going to do all these things, and stuff might even, like, your brain might process all the things that you're, like, a break in the middle is okay.
And I get a little vacation, 2-day vacation in Miami.
Oh, wow, yeah. But
so, not upset about it,
Yeah, and it's like pandemic time, it's not as, like, scary to travel anymore as it was when everything first started. So
well, honestly, I mean, I'm lucky in a lot of ways. I've been traveling throughout most of the pandemic. As soon as I got vaccinated, pretty much. It's been a year ago, so I've been going all around. I even took a camping road trip in 2020. So I haven't been cooped up too much, but anytime you're in New York in the past 2 years has been enough for,
New York is cooped up.
New York is cooped up. New York is it feels very
buttoned down. Yeah.
Now, very, I don't know what the right word is.
But that's a feeling. Yeah, claustrophobic, yeah.
That's the feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, what was your question?
Well, you've been here 2 weeks, so how are things going just in general about, like, space and place and project? You feel like you're getting momentum? Are you achieving kind of your goals? Okay, so,
you want me to tell it?
Well, you could just, like, a brief story. So you were just telling me you had a little scratchy throat.
Yeah.
And you had a cancer during 2020?
Yeah, I had quite an interesting 2020. I had multiple surgeries, one of which ended up having my vocal cords paralyzed, so I couldn't really talk much above a whisper. Wearing masks all the time, no one could really hear me. So I was pretty much, except for my very closest people, my partner and a few friends, like, didn't really talk to anybody that entire year. So I started writing, and that was really where I started, like, getting into that craft.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is super incredible, and you're kind of making me cry right now, and I want to talk to you more about it later, but, I think when you come back from your week-long work trip, I had surgery on my ear, like a year or two before pandemic, so I have an ear canal reconstruction, so I can't hear quite well because I had hearing damage, and it also connects to your taste buds.
Interesting.
So yeah, we could compare our, like, reconstructions.
Yeah, you can feel like plastic. It's pretty weird. Anyway.
So it gets scratchy, yeah. And I have titanium screws in my jaw. Yeah, we could compare notes on those things, but is this writing something that was, like, deep inside of you, or did it kind of come about? Like, was it a transformative time of not being able to talk?
I would say having to be quiet for most of a year definitely was transformative. I'd always been writing. I'd try to write and not, I was in my 20s and just didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought I was this and thought I was that, and would write a little bit and really love it, but then give it up and, just being a mess.
Well, were there screenwriting classes at NYU? Did you take that type of? Okay.
I deeply wanted to be a screenwriter.
Okay.
I'm a filmmaker. I am a filmmaker in my profession, but I just never wrote. It was just something I wanted to do, and I just took it as an opportunity, and I just started writing and didn't stop.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So is this something that came kind of like from your childhood, or is it just something that in 2020 you had ideas that kind of coalesced into what you're writing now?
I've been picking up ideas for stories since I was a kid. No one really thought of me as, like, a writer. They always thought of me as, like, the art girl. Like, I was always drawing and painting, and I was good at it. And my dad's an artist, and my family's artists, and that's, that's what they do. But I always just really love stories, and I love storytelling. So.
Awesome. Well, more about that another time, because I know that you're still digesting. But how are things going? You're writing every day? What's your schedule like?
Totally. I'll tell you a little bit about kind of how it's been for the first 2 weeks, and I'll tell you how it's helped. I got here almost exactly 2 weeks ago, actually, and I crash landed at 8 p.m., didn't know where I was, and another person came out and said hello to me, and I screamed at them, and it was a total mess. And then the next 2 days it rained, so I really just kind of like settled in.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much immediately, I just kind of felt the space to really start moving and working, and since then I've been getting up between 6:30 and 7 and writing my morning pages and writing for a few hours, and I've blown through pretty much the goal I had for the entire month. I've already finished. So
amazing.
I'm figuring out what I'm going to do with the rest of the time at this point.
That's awesome.
And I feel like,
well, you started, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you started some
I did
fine artwork, so that's great, too.
And that's a work in progress.
Oh, yeah, it's all right.
It happens.
Dabbling.
No, I feel like I've been wanting to find this for the past year. For all of last year, I was kind of desperately struggling to balance creative time with work and house stuff and partner stuff and friend stuff and, everything else that just comes with living. And I was just really, really, really trying to deepen my understanding and, like, my process. I really didn't have a process, and that's really what I came here to figure out, and I think it's been incredibly successful. Just having the quiet to do it has just been really good. And I've had so much time, I picked up painting again. Well, I've never watercolored.
Okay.
I've never done that before, but we'll see.
Yay! That's so exciting. That's so exciting. We've done some social things too. We had your gluten-free, so we've had some snacks, courtesy of your mom.
Absolutely.
Which have been fantastic. Any gifts like that are very welcome.
Totally, and there's been bonfires.
Yeah.
Hanging out. Sarah and I have taken runs. Just hanging out and chatting and talking about life, and it's been great.
Little getaway kind of thing. Awesome. So you're taking a week off, so you're extending at least a week. Just your partner's going to visit for a few days at least at the end of the month.
I'll know that. I'm going to call him after this.
No worries. If you feel like you've achieved some of the goals you thought were going to take you a month, the week that you're going to be gone, do you think, you don't have to have set in stone plans, but the weather's changing. What are some of your ideas, maybe? Totally.
Well, I'm really looking forward to, I've been working on an outline this entire time, so I'm excited to start writing some pages.
Okay.
Just get them down.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to go kayaking once we're back. We might go out and camp a little bit. Have some camping gear.
Yeah.
Spend some more time outside and just get some work done.
Where'd that fly? He's like a little... Yeah, he's like a little gremlin. Like, hey! He's like a pal.
Yeah. What else am I
it's nature, the thing. Yeah, it's like the first nice day, we open the door and like a little creature comes in to fly around and see what you're doing. That's so funny.
I do, and hopefully I'll get to garden a little bit once it's a little
Yeah, we've got some things that we're doing. So, I'll kind of close with like part of being here is like participating in something, helping out, doing something. And my intent of that is like taking a break from your work so that you can have a physical activity of some sort that maybe not is like intentional of, going for a run or something like that. So, you've been working in the bamboo grove, and how's that been?
I have been felling and limbing bamboo, and that means cutting it down and hacking off all the little branches. And it's been great. I mean, I feel like I took a few, like, thousands of dollars off my therapy bills just, like, attacking something with a machete. Yeah. So that's been really, really awesome.
Awesome. Have you had a chance to interact with the donkeys?
I've been feeding them little treats sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I go out there and give them a few carrots and say hey, pet their soft noses.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thanks so much. Yay!
I don't know. There's stuff that's, like, kind of deep in.
Deep in, yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna get to those.
We'll figure it out. You said it's therapeutic?
Yes. Very therapeutic.
Nice.
After looking at a computer screen all day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.